Alright there folks, welcome to another bite-sized fishing adventures, and today we're talking maggots and plummets. Okay, so a question that came up a little while ago about maggots, especially with everything going on. A lot of people had bought bait and then we said we couldn't go fishing, so a lot of people were like, oh, what do I do? Well, how do I keep them? Simple solution is keep them in the bag. Okay, I always keep mine bagged up. This is just one of the Ziploc bags. Basically just keep them in there. Squeeze all the air out, pop them in the fridge. After a few hours, they stop moving. They're not dead, they're just dormant because they've suffocated, basically. You can keep them like that for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I've had them in bags for up to 4 weeks before, and they do, when you open the bag, when the air gets to them, they do come round, they do come back to life. It can take a while if they've been dormant for ages. These have been in the bag since lockdown started, so they're going to be pretty much dead, to be fair now. But if you wanted to keep them alive for as long as possible, what you could do is pop them in the fridge in that airtight bag, leave them 3 or 4 days, then get them out, open them, put them in a bait tub, let them come round and just repeat that process. Okay, they're not going to be in tip-top perfect condition, but they're going to be a lot better than they would be if you'd have just bagged them up and thrown them in the freezer. Now, a lot of people have also said, how do I kill my maggots? I basically just do the same thing, pop them in an airtight bag until they're totally dormant, and whatever I want to keep dead, I just tip them out into a bait tub full of water. Because again, they're underwater, they can't get oxygen, they're not going to come round, so they stay dead. Okay, there is another method that you can use involving water. Basically, you just cover them in water, in cold water, boil the kettle, and then very, very slowly start adding boiling water, and it scalds them and they die, basically. I used to do that, but for whatever reason, it'd either bleach them out or it'd make them go really stretchy and stuff like that, and I just had so many problems with it, I just gave up. But the simple solution is keep them in your bag, let them suffocate, keep them like that in your fridge. If you want them alive, open the bag, when the air gets to them, they'll start coming round. If you want to keep them dead, when you're at the bank, just tip the bag into water and they'll stay dead. Okay, it's as simple as that, really. And as I say, they will stay fresher for a lot longer. If you pop them in the bag and pop them in the freezer, they do go a little bit weird, they go a bit funny, they just don't look right, and they start to stink as well once they've defrosted, so give that a go. So the second question that I got asked is about plummets. Now it seems like a relatively obvious thing, really, isn't it? Well, it's something you use to know your depth and stuff, but there's slightly more to it than that, and there's generally 2 types on market. There's a diddy one and there's a little dumpy fat one. Okay, both have their purposes, but every single time I use the short fat dumpy one, and that's basically because it tells me more about the lake bed or the canal bed or whatever than this one does. Okay, this is a dead light plummet and it just bounces along the deck, not really giving me much information, and these, they're just worthless, to be honest with you. If you've got them and you've been using them to plumb up, please do me a favour, bin them off, get a short fat dumpy one. Alright, this is made by Guru, and it's one of the little faddy ones that they made with, that's got the slit in, and basically it was to they sold it to give you millimetre accuracy when you're plumbing up. That's all well and good if your lake bed is like a snooker table and there's no bumps or ridges in it. Okay, we don't have that, do it? There's contours everywhere. There's stones, there's bits of gravel, there's debris, there's leaves, there's everything in that lake bed. And to be fair, I don't know a single lake builder that goes around afterwards with a trowel smoothing everything out so it's like a billiard table. It were a gimmick, but it's a good plummet because it's got a nice fat bottom, and this tells me a lot. Okay, and it's incredibly useful when you're plumbing up on slopes. Okay, because you can lay that rig in and you can feel the slope, and what this will do is, because of its shape, it'll anchor on that slope. Whereas this one, because it's got such a narrow base, it's not, it's got nothing to purchase on, so it will just tumble up and down. And that's bad, because if I'm fishing for big carp, especially around sort of spring, summertime, and I'm fishing up against a slope, I want to be feeding on that slope, okay? So this will give me the perfect option. Plus the advantage of this, because it's nice and heavy, when you're plumbing up, you've probably experienced it yourself, you'll plumb up, your float will settle, you think, right, okay, that's a good depth in an area that looks a bit fishy. And then you'll drop the plummet down again and it'll drop an extra inch or two. That's the silt on the bottom. So this, by sinking, because it's a heavier plummet, it'll sink into that and it'll give you a better feeling. You'll be able to feel a hard deck as well as a really soft deck, and then it's up to you what you fish over. I know a lot of people have a lot of discussions about this. Oh, I can't fish over silt, the fish don't feed over silt. Well, they do, obviously, because they're rummaging for bloodworms and stuff like that. It doesn't really make a difference. It's how you present your bait. But if you know it's a soft silty bait, soft silty bottom, you can adjust your rig accordingly so that bait is sitting exactly where you need it to be. All right, so have a think about it, have a play the next time you're on the bank and just see the differences. Get some of these, definitely recommend them, and eventually you'll bin them off completely. So there we go, short and sweet, 2 good ideas and tips for you to try, and I'll catch you next time. Tight lines everyone, cheers.